Hello and welcome to another video with Gamers Class. Shizidora here, guys, and today we're going to be talking about objectives on the map, why they are so important, how do you take them, and what kind of benefits you get out of taking these objectives on the map.
If you like this type of content, go to gamersclass.com. For just $5 a month, get your replays analyzed, join monthly live sessions with pro players, get access to our entire content library, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
Now, there's a lot of objectives on the map, but the main objectives on the map are taking down the towers, taking down the barracks, Roshan. I would consider defending your own towers as an objective as well for some heroes at some part of the game, getting the racks, and of course, taking the throne down for the win. Now, we're gonna be talking about why these objectives are so important and how they're gonna help you have a high success in your pubs. And you guys will be seeing this from Radiant's perspective. So if you're playing on Radiant, this is gonna help you out. I'll make a video on Dire 1 as well. You're playing on Radiant, right? And you're the enemy carry. You're the safe laner. So as a safe laner, your main job is to actually get this tower. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So let's just pause here for a moment and see. You're the safe laner. What values you more, getting this tower or getting the top tower? Now let's say you get this tower, right? You still can't really get a lot of farm on the map. Yeah, you can farm over here, you can farm some creep waves over here, maybe even this camp right over here, but you still don't secure that much farm, and you're not denying the enemy's farm. They can still go into their ancients and farm. Because let's say you get this tier 1, right, and the enemy heroes are farming ancients, and you try to contest their ancients. They still have a tier 2 nearby where his supports or their mid laner or off laner or someone can TP and help the guy farming the ancients, right? So what you want to do is you want to secure the top lane. Top lane, the tier 2 is really far away. If you notice it, it's really far away. So let's say this tower falls down, right? No, there's no tower at top. What you can do is you can completely control this camp, and once you get some vision maybe over here, you know, or in this area, you can also start controlling these camps, right? And you can also control the outposts. So let's say if they try to go on you, your team can TP on the outpost, and you can control these entire camps. And eventually getting this top tier 1 is the biggest object. I believe it's the strongest tower to get. It's the most important tower as a safe laner. This the most important second important tower, I would say, is the mid tower. So if you get the enemy mid tower, the tier 1, what you can do is you can smoke maybe into this camp, maybe into this camp. You can actually just smoke into their entire jungle at any point. But when this tower is alive, it's really hard to smoke, because let's say you're smoking into their jungle and you get caught up somewhere over here, maybe here, or you know, somewhere here. This is the opening of the enemy jungle, and this is where people are gonna be in most situations. So let's say you start a fight over here. The enemy's gonna ambush you and they're gonna TP on the tier 1. But if you take down the tier 1, there's gonna be very less chances of the enemy TPing that easily and ambushing you. So that's why I believe if you're playing Radiant, getting the top tier 1 and the mid tier 1 are really important. As the game goes on, I believe getting the top tier 2 is again very important. It's the same thing. If you get this tower down, you can control the enemy's entire jungle. So let's say this tower falls down, right? Well, what's gonna happen is the enemy has no way of actually contesting your farm over here. So this tower falls down, and now you can farm the entire jungle. This camp, probably not this camp because it's not the safest, because the enemy can TP over here. But you can farm this camp, and you're denying the enemy a lot of camps, and you're just farming them on your own as well. If you're playing on Radiant, and let's say we already talked about the mid tower falling down. So let's say the mid tower has fallen down in one of your games. And now you have control of these two camps as well. Now easily you can farm these two camps as well. So if you can get the enemy tier 2 and control the outpost at top, you can easily secure Rosh as well. Once you see that the enemy does not have TPs, or they're using their TPs to probably defend the top lane or somewhere else, just to like, they're just using their TPs to farm, you're gonna straight up go into Rosh and get Rosh, right? Because they don't have a place to TP to, and it's so far away. If you have the damage for Rosh, you can just instantly get Rosh, and the enemy really can't do anything about it. Obviously you won't have divines, but you know, if you guys have you know, a strong lineup for Rosh, you can easily do Rosh in like 20 seconds. And then again, Rosh is also a really big objective in Dota. So overall, I believe in Radiant, the strongest like the most important tower to get is the tier 1, then the mid tier 1, then the tier 2 top. It opens up the map entirely for you, and you can farm really fast. And keep in mind, guys, while you're farming, like you're the carry or the mid laner who's farming aggressively on this side of the camps, your supports or your offlane who is a bit weaker can farm these safe camps as well. And that's why getting all these objectives are so important. And of course, once you secure the map, you can get the Rosh pretty early on, and you give this Aegis to the guy who is the strongest hero on your team. So let's say you have a Shadow Fiend who is probably owning, he has a mega kill, or he's unstoppable or something, he's 7-0 or something. And once you guys secure Rosh, you give him Aegis. That means the enemy will have a tough time getting a comeback kill on the Shadow Fiend. That's another objective that's going to help you win the game in a much easier and much more disciplined way. And if you're playing on Dire, it's pretty much it's like vice versa basically. So if you're a Dire, what you do is you want to get the enemy, like this Radiant tier 1 first, then you want to get the mid tower first. Why do you want to get the tier 1 first? If you're playing Dire, why do you want to get the Radiant tier 1 first? Because if this tower falls down, right, you can control this camp, you can control this camp, and you can farm a lot, and eventually you can push the lane and also control the ancients if you have some kind of vision over here. And on Dire, I believe it's a slight of a bigger advantage than Radiant. Why? Because you can control this ancient, like you farm these ancients, and then you move towards these ancients as well. So obviously ancients give more gold, and it gives you a higher chance of dropping neutral items. So that gives you a bigger advantage, I believe. So doing this on Dire is even better, I think. And eventually, once you get all these objectives on the map, once you start getting advantages out of these objectives, you can eventually outfarm the enemy, get Aegis, get a lot of items, and eventually obviously just get the racks into getting Throne. So I hope this video helped you out on the idea of objectives and how to actually take down towers, and which towers are more important than others. Thanks for watching, guys.